regen. He has really good magic resistance, something that Primal Beast is primarily. Okay, is only magic damage for the most part. So I think it's a pretty good pick. It's also decent against TB until TB gets himself the Ayasgari. Again, same with the Pudge. It gets a little bit dicey at that point, but it looks a lot like the goal for Tundra would be extend the game long enough for Terrorblade to go ham. And on the other side, it's, I mean, that's why you pick the Huskar. It's try to completely dominate them before they get ham. Because, like, Pudge, like, all three of their cores, the Pudge, the Huskar, and the Timbersaw are kind of like dominate the lane and just keep on fighting heroes. And that's something TB does not enjoy.
It's something a lot of this setup on Tundra might not be too ideal. If Gamin Gladiators, they might be able to play the game fast and just choke out the map before they're able to find that success. You know, having to get a Scotty out, but you still have these essential items you're going to want to go for. Certainly, like a Manta at least on the TB. So considering that in mind, it's going to be just a test of timings to be able to get through to them and handle back. I mean, but if there's anything to create space against it, what better than the Broodmother? Probably one of the best answers you can have. The Pudge can annoy and control an area, but not good at necessarily directly killing the Broodlings. Just kind of giving denial of presence, so she has to go jungle or run around somewhere else. So it gives a good option to defend the tower early on. But the stand-ins mean Tundra have this bit of a wild draft going their way.
I mean, it's Tundra. They kind of always have a wild draft going their way. Nine, of course, the proclaimer of mid Wyvern and mid Coddle, so it's not too surprising they swap their mid laner for another one. Kind of, you know, 9 was Thompson 2.0 in that regard, just playing weird mid laners that no one else touched. When Thompson, you know, left the scene for a brief moment and then decided to come back. But yeah, this game is going to be pretty intense, I think. Gamin Gladiators is going to run at Tundra and try to, I guess, abuse the fact that, of course, they are playing with 2 stand-ins, so rotations and defending their TB will possibly be a little bit tougher, considering they don't know. Well, yeah, they're just not that well combined on the team, the roster, just yet. But I'm definitely looking forward towards it. I want to see that mid matchup specifically because I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is going to be just with all the wild picks. The first test is going to be in the comfort. You can see the odds with Betboom that you can click through the banner below the stream. That's a beautiful hook to start. So you can get a $15 free bet for new customers as Betboom. It'll provide you as they provide a first blood on the side of Gamin Gladiators with that Timbersaw chase. Even having the Ricky go in. Be just a moment. There we go.
I mean, that's the reason why you go for the Crystal Maiden Pudge combination. It's just an easy setup into hook. They managed to make that happen in the mid lane this time, and it is going to be first blood in favor of Gamin Gladiators. Not a shabby way to start off this. This is probably going to be a little bit of a slaughterfest kind of a game.
Slaughterfest is a good way to describe it. That early setup. The fact it's just on the clockwork isn't going to be the biggest deal. Oh man, they're going to set up for a second. There's no way this Broodmother can get them off the Rubik. Just needing to back away. That's so much early damage. This lineup should have some success. Where they're trying to catch Timbersaw. Seems like there's good movement, but at what cost? Ace is just 200 HP remaining.
They did manage to get
they're going to have to rely on,
so that's a big plus though for a Gamin Gladiator. Oh, look at that damage.
The first blood. Oh my goodness.
Doesn't have to care about the first creeps either, because the first creep wave always they encounter each other, so you can't like pull them off. So yeah, the nastiness is definitely there already. Oh my god, Saxa is gonna get taken down in the process. Gotta get those flesh heap stacks up for Gamin Gladiators. I think that bottom lane is probably where 90% of our focus needs to be.
Maybe it's hard to say. I think there's going to be bloodshed everywhere. The more that I think about it, everyone on both of these sides kind of wants to just fight. We're not going to see that changing anytime soon. Thompson getting heavily harassed by the good old flaming spears.
Yeah, he doesn't even have Inify yet, so that just shows exactly how confident Quinn is. Is going to take a heap of damage though from Thompson, and yeah, the Huskar almost gets taken out in the process. Charge forward, Quinn does get charged down by Thompson, and yeah, not going for the inner fire is a little bit of a risk, I might add. As you can see, Thompson winning out that 1v1 fight towards mid and sending out some regen in the process.
Yeah, but we can see the early idea of having the Huskar against the Primal Beast. Seems like this will be a competitive matchup at least. Especially being able to reset top to early HP. But man, a bottle already in the Primal. This is going to help him get that harass and everything in lane. And look at that, this good old Terrorblade. He's farming 2 stacks of creep waves. Oh wait, both teams are deciding to agree to just cut the creep waves between the tier 1 and tier 2. This is wild.
That's currently this patch. It's an interesting one. It tends to most of the time happen in the Dire side of the map. Radiant side sometimes, but not too often. I guess the pulling is a little bit more problematic in that regard. Tofu getting himself some free XP over there, while the Timbersaw needs to get himself some levels, because without levels it's going to be hard to sustain in that lane specifically. The Clockwork can be very annoying to deal with for most heroes, and that does also include the Timbersaw. Quinn's actually not even leveling inner fire whatsoever. Oh, Dyrachyo dragged back, a lot of damage coming in, but going deep under the tower would be an act of suicide for the Tundra team.
Oh, I don't think they're going to be too afraid of doing things like that, as we see the Primal Beast diving right in on Quinn once again. Barely able to win it out. Means he's going to avoid at least the XP gains against him. You can see Thompson bringing out just the good old roar voice lines on the Primal Beast.
Dyrachyo is going to get taken down this time around. Crystal Maiden was a bit too far away, and Insatiable Hunger is a pretty painful tool in terms of being able to clean up your opponent. So they're getting a couple of brawls in different lanes. I think the Timbersaw is probably the most safe of them all, because he does have, him and the Riki both have ways to dodge and weave out of engagements to make sure that the cogs from the Clockwork will not be too much to handle.
Let's see. Now with that early HP and
look at the difference between the last hits of the safe laners and pretty much, obviously the Brood as well, but the mid laners have barely gotten any creep kills in the process. They've just been focused on trying to kill each other. Quinn does have his Inify this time around. He's going to use it to keep his enemy at bay. Charge from Thompson's going to cancel. That actually needs to run away because the TP came through, and that is Tofu joining in, helping out Quinn and keeping that lane in control of Gamin Gladiators, or at least getting a bit more control in the lane. This time, Thompson did not manage to make the unfeasible happen. While in the meantime, bottom lane Celery is dropping low. Dyrachyo will be able to catch up to Saksa and try and eat up the Rubik. 33 is trying to block a hook shenanigan coming in. Will he be able to hit it? That creep is in the way. Dyrachyo is very much annoyed, and the sidestep from Saksa is on point. Goodbye, Tata.
Now with that, should be able to get that little bit of lead in the net worth. You can see that Huskar able to get all this free CS he wants for a good minute. It's going to give him the slight edge against the Primal Beast and have the space to start toasting him in fire. Yeah, that's a bit rough.
Oh, Quinn.
And he's still here. He's going to have a very unhappy surprise.
Oh, but he's
Still able to get the trample. Nice.
Oh, that mid matchup is not necessarily... I mean, Quinn is winning in terms of net worth. That's the very least, and he's making sure that Thompson doesn't really get any farm. But Tofu is a really farmed Ricky at this stage, and honestly, it kind of is problematic for the Primal. He's getting the experience, that's a big plus, but he's not getting the farm. And that is a little bit problematic because he needs BKB desperately, and he needs it quickly.
Okay, now with that underway, we're gonna cool off from the 1v1 aim map. We're also going Smash Bros. Final Destination with it. Just the amount of blood being shed on that mid lane right now.
It's surprising that that only Tofu has rotated as well from the supports. Bottom lane, Duracho. Thompson's on top of the Pudge. Pudge is pretty tanky, but not tanky enough. And with the Pulverize, it will be enough to secure a pretty big kill. That is the top net worth of Gamin Gladiators out for the count at the very least. That's his second death this game. But of course, Pudge is a hero that does thrive off of brawling the entire time to get as many stacks as possible.
There we go, going for a bit of stomping around. Well, Timbersaw still having just a nice time chilling, farming creeps in the good old off lane, Timber, and forcing the Terrorblade to just go for some good old jungling. Probably the most chill lane in this entire Bear. However, you don't have to chill. You can get pumped with us with a free bet of $15 when you sign up for the first time with the Betboom app.
Currently, the lanes are going pretty a-okay. Nice hook back. They also have Tofu there for another slow to throw out. Smoke as well. Can he get out of there? Actually, 33 is trying to dip, but luckily enough, Shelby had another freeze at the ready. And that lane is turned into a bit of a tri-lane. Tofu's been lurking about towards that bottom side. Doesn't need to join the Timbersaw top. Nightfall went to the jungle. Timbersaw soloing top. So there is no harm in just keeping sure that your safe laner will not get taken down anymore. Look at Thompson. He's looking for a possible catch onto Quinn. Nice interrupt there with the inner fire. Tofu rotating through together with Cellular as well. He's stuck inside the smoke and nothing he can do. Thompson's going to get overwhelmed. They turn their attention to snaking, and the roaming supports of Gamin Gladiators with the body blocks as well from Tofu just to try and make sure that the kill is secured. He managed to pick it up himself with a killing spree now on the Ricky. Hashtag Tofu, big fan right there. He's making this game superbly possible for Gamin Gladiators with these nasty rotations.
Nasty rotations, good way to describe it. They're always trying to catch out this Huskar, but now with the armlet, a lot of ways to easily get this burst HP to help him sustain, and I don't think there's any way for the Beast to respond to this. It's going to be the same with the Rubik as he's taken out with a good old life break, leaping on through.
And Tofu with the smoke as well, making sure there's no lift shenanigans coming through. Here we have Nightfall together with Thompson going in for the kill onto Quinn. Can they get the catch? Quinn actually gets the kill onto Snaking, trying to run away. A Broodmother coming in from the side. There's a little bit too much with 3 cores hunting him down. And this time, Quinn will fall. But while they're doing that, Timbersaw is just free farming in the top lane. You've got Duracho in the safe lane having the time of his life. Both of them up towards the tower even. And it's a 3k net worth as well for Gamin Gladiator.
I suppose one way you can deal with it is, well, if we need to do more damage, we'll just do more damage. It's a good way to deal with the health regen. Like, no armlet toggling for you, we're just going to cut you down. Now the Rubik. Bit of a chain duel.
Gets his level 6,
Anything
can try and get away, but again,
do better. Ooh.
It's Tofu with a DD. He is everywhere, I swear. The man is a monster on this Ricky.
Yeah, it's about everything he could ask for currently, which makes things even rougher. I thing to note is that these cores on Gaming Gladiators are all staying on top consistently with a measurable lead of the cores of Tundra.
Yeah, they're farming
4K at the
exceptionally
11-minute mark. So much gold.
Oh, Pudge in trouble, tops him from behind. Duracho, the charge actually is nope, I'm out of here. Shenanigan, hook comes through. Oh my lord, the longest hook you've ever seen, but it's going to connect. Duracho with a beautiful pick. Uses the Thunderstorm to get that little bit of extra range he needed and drag back, snaking towards his demise.
Not going to be complaining about that. Getting the good old top, not even using it on the clockwork, just to heal up after. Keep on jungling. And this Broodmother is forced back all the way to the dire triangle. But the Timbersaw's here, trying to kill as many of those spiderlings as possible before she gets back to lane. And man, Gaming Gladiators, it seems like they're aware they have the advantage. Constantly going for these ganks. Trying to constantly find more opportunities, and they're ready to get this mid tower. And they're aware that there is a support nearby, and they want to pick off that Rubik again, or whoever else they can find. Sentry will save the Clockwork's life. No run.
That's a big catch onto Duracho. Did not manage. Doesn't have Flash Heat for that matter available, so they do get a quick kill. Together, Nightfall and Thompson managed to find a huge one. Nightfall back to the top net worth spot. That is kind of what Tundra need. They need to keep that Terrorblade on top. That's pretty much their win condition. The rest is just try and get him there. Brood is trying to keep him alive at most times, and Thompson's just trying to create space for the TB to be able to farm. But it's really hard with that Riki, spotting a lot of problems all over the map. Constantly second guessing yourself if the Ricky's not right behind you, and he doesn't even have the sleeping pod yet.
Doesn't need it. Just needs the silence to shut them down. No need to set it up. Yeah, just he's able to find all that impact even with the Sleeping Dark Shard unavailable. Don't forget, we're just at the 13-minute mark. It's so early on, and this Primal Beast is ready to chase. Finally, a bit of a revenge on the Gaming Gladiators as they slam the Riki down into a paste. Tundra is starting to be able to even things out. But again, so much space to be able to farm for everyone on this Gaming Gladiators side. I don't know how significant that's going to change things just this second.
I mean, it delays the game, and that's what Tundra is looking to do, delay the game as much as possible until TB can 1v5 at the later portions. He is doing an exceptional job at farming, but the Pudge Ags is going to be up soon enough. That's going to make everything a lot more problematic, especially if they can get on top of the TB. Which, granted, with their heroes, they're really capable of getting on top of a TB with the Timbersaw, with the Riki, Huskar, even with the Flame Break, and possibly later the Blink on the Pudge to boot. And currently, they have caught up significantly in terms of farm. It's only a 1k lead now for Gaming Gladiators. And yeah, they're actually getting bullied back, forced all the way towards the tier 2 towers so that the tier 1 can be picked up by Tundra and open up the map a little bit. Of course, Gaming Gladiators with a 2 tower advantage does make the farming potential of Nightfall a little bit more problematic. That BKB from Quinn is going to mean they have very little they can do against the TB. Against the Huskar.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm just excited to see how much they can get working with this Timbersaw. They're definitely aware there's a little bit of body block going on. The Riki needing to awkwardly walk away. And man, just look at all this farm being stolen on the side of Gaming Gladiators. They've fallen behind a bit because of that powerful farming ability of the Terrorblade.
Duracho, he's got his Ags fully done. Blink Dagger's going to be next. Hook Shot comes in with the Metamorphosis on top. Duracho does not manage to stay alive, even with the Riki smokes. Dobson doesn't even stop there. He charges right through, hunting for more blood. And the tier 1 tower towards mid is going to be the target of Tundra. And yep, they are making the rotations that are required. The net worth advantage has dwindled. It was a 5k net worth advantage at a certain point, and well, it's Tundra finally awaking in the process, even with some early aggressive moves coming out from the Timbersaw, something you don't get to see too often. Sorry, from the Terrorblade. The Timbersaw has actually not been able to join many engagements for Gamin Gladiators, which is a little bit on the surprising end. He is just trying to get rid of the 33 spiders. That's why he's sticking to the bottom lane. Otherwise, you fight in top, and then all of a sudden your tier 2 tower bottom is just evaporated.
Oh, I mean, the one character that needs to succeed, the one key hero, is this Terrorblade. So Nightfall able to get that freeform going. You can see he's got that Manta. He's immediately going for that good old Scotty. And oh no, they're aware that he's trying to go for this on the Huskar, but he has a BKB, and the stun goes through. The follow-up with the silence with the Ricky, and he's denied his cheeky little play. Now the Timbersaw, he'll make it his goal to tank as the Huskar farms and just turns this Roshan to a nice bit of barbecue to get that Aegis.
Trying to block any hook shot attempts there. As you can see, Tofu, Ace, and Celery being bodyguards of the Roche Pit. It will be the Aegis for Quinn, and it's kind of a moment for Gamin Gladiators to start getting aggressive again. They need to shut down Nightfall. He's building the Scotty next. That's his second item, and that is pretty much the essential item the hero needs to be able to fight against the Gamin Gladiators roster, especially against the Huskar, because without the healing amplification, like healing reduction by 40%, plus it pierces BKB, that Huskar would be demolished by the TB.
Demolished would be a pretty fair way to describe it. The fact that Primal Beast going into low Thompson's a bit dangerous.
The interrupt right
Trying to
there.
use the punch hook to save the Huskar, but is denied. That's the first life down. It is with the Silent Snake King getting harassed by Tofu.
Nice ulti from Celery.
Entire lineup is split.
Gets interrupted though with the pulverizer. Ratchet's going to go for the nom. Smoke onto Thompson. Can he get away? They're trying to continue the fight. The stolen smoke screen comes into play, and they're actually going in. Finally, Ace joins the fight, but with that Sunder, Nightfall will be able to heal back to full stolen timber chain by Sax. He's trying to be such a big nuisance, and he's being successful right now. Ace, the hook is going to miss. He is in trouble. He's actually going the opposite direction to make sure his teammates don't get overwhelmed. He picks up the ring timber, and Ace is going to be able to get out of there. Oh, the timber chain misses, and he's able to get himself out of dodge. You still have a chase coming out from Sax, who's greedy for blood, but it should be Ace staying alive. And all in all, a favorable fight right there for Gamin Gladiators. They lost the Aegis, but that's not too problematic. They didn't lose much afterwards. Crystal Maiden death, who cares? The Aegis was lost, obviously, but they did at least force out the Metamorphosis, and Daracho, very close to death, will manage to get another Flesh Heap stack.
Yeah, he's going to be happy. There's no one to punish him. Tofu, once again, saving the day a little bit. And it seems like Tundra are figuring out, okay, we need to be willing to parlay, go for these fights, including, you know, this Terrorblade. He doesn't even have the Scotty yet, but he's like, yeah, sure, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go. Even though it's the 19-minute mark, he's willing to compete. They'll try to disengage when possible, as we see here. Not wanting to fully send through every single waking moment. I'm sure there's a little bit until that Metamorphs back up anyways.
Well, the 33 Broodmother is catching back up to the opposing cores. He did fall off a little bit more than would have expected in the process. But currently, Gamin Gladiators going for another smoke. Daracho's got that Blink Dagger available, so he wants to be able to get on top of the TB. And they find him. No, not really. He's on the other side of the map. Only the illusions will be spotted so far, but they are trying to at least make sure he doesn't have the Ancients to farm, and that's going to give away exactly where Gamin Gladiators are playing. Korea gets taken down with the point booster. That is very problematic, because that is his Scotty that would otherwise be finished. In the meantime, 33 is going to be hunted down, dropping low, slept in the process, and this smoke screen on top of Snaking will make sure there will not be any more spells coming into play. The tier 1 tower bottom lane will also be taken in favor of Gamin Gladiators, and now Quinn even has bots so that he can always be there when his team needs him most.
There we go. Doing a little bit of farming and jungling. You can see the entire team rotating bottom, and it's the exact same situation with Tundra after those players are being picked up. It's just these sort of 5-man stacks all across the map, trying to be prepared to do what they can to risk having to fight at any moment. So Gamin Gladiators, again, able to start building back that lead. The big question is what happens when that Scotty comes up. How much of an impact will it be able to have to stop these just strong, tanky, regenerating cores from Gamin Gladiators?
With the Aghanim Scepter being built up as well on the Huskar, that will be a bit more problematic for the TB and other heroes on the opposing side, because there are BKB piercing spells. The lift, drag back, smackdown with the pulverize, and a quick kill onto Quinn. That's the downside of playing on a hero like Huskar. You play low HP most of the time, and quick jump off the sacks, they will find themselves. Rubik, who tries to force F towards the low ground, will not be successful. They freeze, tops him, but with the BKB should be able to just get himself out of harm's way. He is building into the Aghanim Scepter, and it's actually a really good Aghanim Scepter game for the Primal Beast. It breaks the Huskar, it breaks the Timbersaw. It's also an incredible amount of damage that can take care of the supports in the process. Honestly, it's a superb pick this game.
Certainly setting that up. Now the Mario, they even popped the smoke in just in case. Didn't have the info on that, and they're going to be able to get the flank in. They're going to be contacting this Clockwork. He's going to be a dead man on the Snaking, even the Huskar rotating in. Oh, they even use the dart for good measure.
Well, they do have Scotty finally done on the TV. So it's getting a little bit scary as well. Another sleeping dart comes into play. They're trying to go in for 33. Can they hunt him down? On the opposite side, there is going to be a metamorphosis pop. Nightfall gets a kill, blinking forward. They're trying to get rid of the supports quickly, but the damage from Nightfall isn't going to be enough. He is pumping out a lot of damage in the process. Quinn's going to leap in forward. The Scotty is doing his work. Quinn can't really heal, but TB can't really sunder. He's going to get mowed down, and now Thompson gets slept up again by Tofu with another smoke screen. No BKB available. 33 is just trying to give him an aura to be able to keep him alive. That will be unfortunate for the side of Tundra. They will lose their TB in the process and fall back accordingly. And yeah, it's a safe lane for safe lane trade, but killing off the TB is way more value than killing off the Pudge this game.
Oh, without a doubt. You can see they're breaking about equal in the gold exchange, but the XP difference with having that Airblade taken out, it's a bit of an issue, because this Timbersaw is getting close to a free game. He's starting to work on the Hex now. I don't know how they deal with this on the side of Tundra.
And Duracho, soon enough for BKB, then he's going to go for his own Shiva's Guard. Extra armor is always a plus, and healing reduction is pretty nice against a hero like the Broodmother, who does have the Guardian Greaves. Another hook attempt by Duracho, but this time Snaking will not get caught in the process. But yeah, they're building up some extra armor on the heroes. You already saw a plate mill, if I'm not mistaken, on Quinn. So he's trying to just bulk up and make sure that the TB does not mow him down in one fell swoop, which we saw in that previous fight. Even with the Scotty, it took quite some time to kill off the Huskar. Granted, his healing was significantly reduced in the process. But it gets pretty problematic for the TB if he doesn't have a BKB this game. He kind of needs a BKB because of the smoke screen. He can't sunder any enemies. And okay. Nice hook there, keeping Celery alive. But yeah, a BKB is a must-have. even though it's not really superbly great because you are up against the Hook, Dismember, and also soon enough the Huskar Ags.
Yeah, and when the Huskar Axe comes out, oh, I don't know what they're going to do.
That's pure damage right there, coming in from Saxa, blowing his opponent up. They quickly interrupt Duracho. Nice pulverized damage coming in with the BKB. Duracho's trying to run away. Can he stay alive? Hook stolen by Saxa, drags Duracho back, will cost him his life, and Duracho's still not dead somehow. Gets the blink off a little bit further forward, but will eventually be overwhelmed. And right now, they do not have Quinn, they do not have Duracho, they do not have anything. They're going to try and scout Roche, but it will not be up for another 50 seconds. But a very big fight there from Tundra, and I cannot believe that through that entire flurry of heroes, Saxa manages to steal the Hook and even get it used onto the pike.
That is such a beautiful play, and they're able to find some success taking out 2 of those cores. It's a bit of a fight to take out the pike.
Make sure he cannot run away. He has to go all the way around the cliff to try and get to the high ground. It's actually kind of interesting. He got a blink off somehow, but he blinked the tiniest amount to try and disengage on the fight. Thompson with his ulti usage there. The break comes into play. There's no metamorphosis, so Tundra need to back off. Without meta, they kind of can't fight at all.
And the fact they're able to disengage, keep their beast alive, now with the Ags, they're going to be happy with that. Want to fight to keep everything alive that they can.
Well, Roche number 2, free shard, will be the target here. They are trying to have a little bit of a war of vision. And Saxa on his trusted Rubik is singing one of the strongest, most painful spells this game, the Chakram, pure damage, something that a Huskar is really bad at. And speaking of which, he's gonna get chopped down by Saxa! Just as that continues, they're gonna go for more. No buyback available for the Huskar. Ace with the BKB, can the Timbersaw get away? The Sniper comes in to make sure there's no more Primal on his tail. The rest of the team, can they catch up? It is 33, but he doesn't have any good control for the Timbersaw to take him down. I hear the nom-nom from the Dismember. Pudge is fighting in one different direction. Ace is going to go for the TP out. Can Ace get away? No, he cannot, because again, Saxa is right there when needed. Thompson chasing for Duracho. BKB versus BKB. Hook comes back. Thompson is running out of his BKB, but there's the army. The Spiderlings are charging in. Sari bought back in the process. They're going to spot out Tofu. Can Tofu get away? He does have a bit of an escapist movement, but the Vicky will be slept by his own dart. Double jump to the side, taken down in the process. Net worth has been nullified, and back to the Roche pit, but this time Tundra goes.
They're trying to do everything they can, but Saska is quite possibly the best support I've seen this entire tournament. It doesn't matter what you give him in his hands. He's always able to find impacts, help confirm, and even deny escape as needed. We got a shard on the Primal Beast, as well as an Aegis on this Terrorblade. And the question is, would this Terrorblade be able to get the farm to compete and keep up the fight against Tundra, or against Gamin Gladiators, rather? And the answer is yes.
They take back control of the net worth chart at the very least. They got the Aegis, they got the free shard, which they gave to the Primal, so he's got the big old rock throw to yeet as is at his opponents. 33 in the meantime is building up the size device. That's going to be a very big pickup as well, because you really saw it on that Timbersaw. He was hard to lock down without the Rubik there, and that's the only one that they really have for the lockdown. Speaking of which, the rock throw comes into play. Hookshot as well, the full control, the entirety of Tundra just surrounding Ace and badgering him to death. They're looking to knock onto the high ground and say hello to the Gamin Gladiators base.
There we go, tower being brought down. And, man, they're just pushing this assault. Look at all that damage from the Broodlings. Certainly helps to have the Terrorblade, though I don't think they need it. Oh my goodness. This is a siege on the base.
Oh,
Gladiators, they don't want
Saksa.
to buy back on this Tide Hunter, but now, not the Tide Hunter, oh my goodness.
Saksa is
so many
nasty
teammates
with that Rubik. So freaking nasty. Sleeping Dart Steel and managing to take out Tofu. That is really problematic. They lost a full set of racks. And it's the top set of racks as well. So it's normally the one that's hardest to secure. Diracho's going to get hooked upon. Tried to get the pushback, but will be able to TP out because the hook shot was already used. And that is the only BKB piercing stun that they have until, obviously, Thompson would hit level 25. Or if Rubik gets an Ags. To be fair, he can steal some spells from the Pudge in a solid situation. But yeah, they're looking a little bit troubled here on Gaming Gladiators for these engagements. Quinn has died a couple of times too quickly.
Yeah, now we got a Kaya on the Primal Beast.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Boy. And they're looking now with all 5 of them. They want to take the attempt to farm some gold in the meanwhile. And they'll realize those players are split farming, and they're going to decide to hunt them down rather than siege the base. I'm sure Gaming Gladiators are going to be aware of this. They're going to start trying to skitter away. The Timbersaw is going to be difficult to chase. And the Pudge is already teleported out. Yeah, they'll be just fine.
They've got the site now on 33, so Extra Lockdown has joined the server here for Tundra. High ground sieging is still a little bit scary for the Tundra side. They have a lot of push, obviously, but Diracho on the Pudge with a good hook can displace the enemies pretty quickly. Speaking of displacement, Nightfall needs to be careful. Does have the Aegis. And is going to get dragged back in the process. Pops the BKB. Metamorphs is immediately going in for the fight. They find Ace on the side. He's completely separated from the rest of his team. The drag back comes in, and oh my god, the damage. Is there going to be a crit this time? Not really. But Ace is still on the retreat, chased by a couple of blasts. So close to dropping, but he is still alive somehow. 33 with the Hex possibly can join in the face. Sax is dead though. That's a big death for the Tundra side. They might need to bail out. Nightfall's Metamorphosis is already half duration, and that is a pretty good sort of win for Gaming Gladiators. They waste the meta, and they keep the Timbersaw somehow alive.
They're able to delay just for now, get that bit of space, and man, they're even pushing forward openly in this mid lane. They want to turn this around, take the fight to them, knowing this Rubik is down. They're still diving this. They could find a Broodmother soon, but she's skittering away. Surprisingly, without much vision, just good instincts, they back off and get away just with the creep info. And man, those odds of win probability are dead even.
Yeah, it's a very close game, which is pretty impressive considering Tundra are playing with 2 substitutes at the moment. Granted, they are some top tier substitutes. Nightfall, of course, with Betboom got first place at the Eastern European DPC. As an offlaner though, and now he's playing as safe lane. But they're going to go in with the Axe. The taunt comes out. The control isn't going to be enough. Snaking's already dead. 33's on the run. The Broodmother is going to get taken down. And is there going to be any more shenanigans? Yes, Saksa should be a third one to be beat. Without the Terrorblade, they don't have much to fear. On the side of Gaming Gladiator, Thompson, he's going to get control. Doesn't have his BKB available, and that's going to be 4 kills for Gaming Gladiators. And none of them have a buyback at the moment. The only big, huge advantage is that there are no creeps to be found on the map anywhere close to the structures of Tundra.
And even if they were, not like you have any tower pushers on Gaming Gladiators, and man, we can see that damage on the Huskar, 5,300 in that fight alone. And it's enough that the Terrorblade spot a Silver Edge. And going for the Satanic next, goodness.
Yeah, the breaks are really good this game against both the Huskar and the Timbersaw. So having as many as possible will always be a big plus. Question is, what are the next items going to be? Timbersaw is going for the Octarine core. Ace also has his own Scythe of Vice at the ready, Aether Lens, so Ace is a pretty big threat on the Timbersaw. Something that normally Timbersaws to the later portion of the game tend to fall off significantly, but he's brought in a lot of nasty utility and is also not the easiest to kill. As we saw previously, his Timber Chaining got him out of dodge and made them lose an engagement attempt.
That might be a nice and polite way to put it. It's terrible. He did find that early success. He can be competitive. They just need to find that next answer. As there's so many heroes with passives they're going to want to break in this lineup. And the fact that Scotty isn't enough is a little concerning.
Oh, Quinn.
They're going to immediately go for the spike. Flopper has the vision for the tight under follow-up. And man, the instant break, they're able to easily take Quinn down. No way for him to respond. And guess who doesn't have buyback as well? It's Gamin Gladiators.
Yeah, Quinn's been caught out a couple of times too many. It's been a rough game for him on the last pick. Huskar likes to play, of course, Huskar likes to play low HP, but with a break, two breaks on the opposing side, and with Scotty as well, playing on low HP tends to be very suicidal in such a game. It did again force out Nightfall's Metamorphosis. The question is, will they be able to do anything with it? And the answer is probably not. I mean, Roshan is up in 15 seconds, and it is the third Roshan. So they could get themselves a nice freebie Ags or Refresher, and that would be obviously a huge boost for either of the two teams.
And sort of the boon is what they're trying to find at this point. You can see that net worth lead on the Terrorblade. They're just relying on this manly carry, and they're going to immediately go into the Roach Pit. They've pushed out the lanes. They have to worry about the base on Gamin Gladiators, and they're going to have to fight behind and deal with an Aegis. Terrorblade happily swapping out his good old power treads for it this second.
I did not see it.
I didn't see what else the Roach.
Yeah, was it a Refresher or was it an Ags? I slightly missed that one.
Oh, chart on the primer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, then you got the double BKB, double wombo combo pretty much that the hero brings to the table, because it is a lot of disruption once he charges into the fray. Get a sleeping dart on him, but with 4 staffs they'll be able to get Thompson out of harm's way at the very least. Currently, it's actually surprising that Diracho is this close in net worth to the TB of Nightfall. Normally, when you see TBs in a game, they're like stupidly farmed. They're like ridiculously 10k ahead of any other core in the game farm. But they are keeping up very significantly. Granted, it is a game with 58 kills so far, so they have been brawling quite a significant amount.
And they're having quite a bit fun with the brawls. The adjustment, you know, they did do the stalling, not initially going for that contact play and everything, but being able to change it up helps a lot. Now, let's see, we got the Hex, the Pipe, and now going for a Lotus Orb on the Broodmother.
It's a pretty good Lotus Orb game. There are a bunch of spells that you want to reflect. Obviously, you know, Pudge, Ulti, Crystal Maiden's Freeze is pretty annoying to get out of. Also, the Sleeping Dart is something that you want to possibly reflect if you can. And the Huskar ulti would be perfect, because then he'd taunt himself, sort of. Keep himself occupied. They're going to charge in onto the high ground. Can they get the damage in? The break is there. The damage is significant. Quinn is being slowed down. There's a break stolen in the process. The charge is going deeper with the refresher used from Thompson. Double kill secured. Dodson in the building. Nightfall trying to man fight up against the Ratchet. Does still have a Sunder available, but Thompson's going to get controlled on the side. He got a little bit too greedy, a little bit too far. The hook comes in. Saksa is going to get controlled. Nice drag back out of there. The taunt comes into play for Quinn. Does he get the control? And actually, Quinn is going to die. That's going to be a dieback as well. Dirachi with the buyback. hook back onto the high ground. Timbersaw needs to disengage. They bought back en masse for the Gamin Gladiators side, but they will finally get themselves in control. The Aegis is going to get popped in GD without the Metamorphosis. There's no GD no longer. X comes out immediately, and finally they do manage to get the kill secure, but it did cost them 3 buybacks and a dieback onto Quinn. So a very dangerous situation for Gamin Gladiators, where one next bad fight could be everything.
A necessary evil, because without it, it would be GG at this point, and they need everything they can get. We can see going back through Quinn just getting shut down so hard.
Boom! That double kill right there. Oh, refresh that just on time. Gets a little bit too aggressive afterwards and surrounded by the bought back Huskar. Obviously with the Aghanim Scepter could not really muster out a escape, but Quinn leaping in further forward. It's dangerous to try and taunt a Terrorblade in the process. However, at the very least, they did manage to kill the remaining Tundra heroes. The fairies at least. But can they get much done with it? As we can see in the bottom right, not really, no.
Okay. And now just viewed, just being able to turn things around, that was what's so important. Also means they can get these gold to try to find some items to change the tide of this battle that is favoring the Tundra away. And there's some long cooldowns. I would hope everyone on Tundra has buyback available. That's what it looked like was the case, since they all got taken down. And the win probability swinging towards the Gamin Gladiators direction. I'm surprised.
Yeah, so
how far it's swung over.
It's an interesting one. They did get a lot of gold out of that fight, even though it cost them a buyback on 3 heroes and the dieback on 1. But they are in a spot where one bad fight could cost them the entire game. Dyrachyo dies. It's not necessarily over because their other 2 cores are still very scary. But it is in a very dangerous spot. Quinn's net worth has just plummeted off the face of the earth at the moment, compared to, let's say, Ace, for instance, who is just loving life on the Timbersaw. He's got... Does he have an equipable axe coming in? Because Ace is incredibly fat.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, and that's a bit concerning. How do they break through him? That's going to be the challenge as they take this team fight.
They're going in. Nightfall with, again, the BKB pop going in, but the Aeon Disc popped by Dyrachyo. Is it going to keep him alive? No, it's not! Oh, the Refresher! Dyrachyo is going to try and stay alive for a little bit longer. Gets the blink back! The Refresher keeps it going, but the rest of the team is in trouble because they do not have their Pudge available anymore. He cannot do much except for hook Quinn out of harm's way. Ace gets the kill on Snaking in the process, but they're chasing for more. Sox out with the control. Is it possible to keep them at their neck and arms? It will be a 2-for-1 trade. Again, Metamorphosis was used, but he did buy a Refresher on Nightfall, so he has another meta available for the high ground push. And this time, there's not a double Aeon Disc to keep the Pudge alive.
On top of it, using the Refresher Orb early, not to sustain the Metamorph, not to be able to get off another Panic Sunder quickly. No, it was just so he could get another Silver Edge break against these cores, and that's the entire reason. Despite all the refreshers and the Aeon Discs used on the Pudge, he is unable to stay alive and gets broken through. Now the Riki forced by back, and they are going to try to turn this around. Able to break pace, and oh no, they see the Huskar, they see Quinn. They will back away even with the slow.
Oh, run, Piggy, run! The slowest Piggy the world has ever seen, and with that Sleeping Dart, it's very problematic. Dyrachyo has a hook available if he gets a lucky one, should secure a kill, but they're going to back off. They don't really have another Metamorphosis available, and Refresher is on cooldown, so they are going to back off after forcing out the Tofu buyback. However, this is wasting a lot of time, and that's a little bit scary because the buybacks from Gamin Gladiators are getting closer and closer.
I have to start wondering now on, just the game as a whole. I wonder how much the odds have swung back the other way. It seems like this is just game number 1, and it's already going the distance.
It is, it is a pretty lengthy game, and it's a lot on the line.
Oh, MKB on the Terrorblade.
Okay,
Radiant's bottom
yeah,
At his 7th slot now.
he's swapping in every item that he possibly can right now.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Another Pudge. I mean, to be fair, if you have a nullifier, that Pudge is dead. Because he can't get the double A and this procs off anymore. But Roche will respawn in 2.5 minutes, so a very late Roche respawn time at this time. It is everything you want, though, with the refresher, with the Aghanim Scepter. Dyrachyo is solo towards the top lane. Well, he does have the Aeon Disc refresher, Blink possibly. Can he get away? He's going for the TP attempt, and he gets out of there without being able to get interrupted. But my man's playing with fire, because now again he doesn't have his refresher orb. I don't really know why he was there.
Yeah, and that's going to be just put down immediately once again. Able to capture those outposts. I always want to call them shrines still, even though it was years and years ago. It's weird how that works.
I'm happy the shrines are gone. They were a pain. Stupid sustain. It's kind of like water runes now, but slightly different. I mean, significantly different, obviously, but it did add in a lot of sustain in the spots where you did not want to see them.
Much needed. After all, the mid camp was removed, and that was an option of sustain for some characters towards mid. Take it down.
That's just the change of the game. Let's see. Thompson, he's going for the refresher orb next. He does have himself the Lincolns. We did see what he could do with the refresher previously. That was a lot of work. Smoke gets broken. That is Tofu with the invis. I hear a bunch of wards being placed in the process. Both sides aiming for that Roche. But the problem is, top lane is being pushed in. Mid lane is being cut by the Terrorblade. And that's the big downside of playing against TB. He will be constantly able to put pressure on your lanes while you're scurrying around the Roche pit to find what is essentially a huge objective at this point in the game. 33 is not there.
That's what the focus.
He TP'd back to
Oh
base.
boy, they're pushing in. Oh, good sentry, able to get to sleep early, but it forces the blink out. They're able to expose this Ricky, and now we
Save
start
from
what could be
Dyrachyo,
the last team
but
fight.
he's in trouble. Dyrachyo is going to get controlled up. The fight goes onto the side. Quinn is already dead. No buyback available for Quinn. They tried to keep their heroes alive, but Dyrachyo, what might it have cost? It might have cost them the entire game. Dyrachyo is going to get overwhelmed. Does also not have a buyback available, and he's still on the dieback timer right now. 1,000 gold off of it. Tofu, the man that got caught, cost them so much. 3 deaths without a buyback available between them. Crystal Maiden has one soon, but 33, the only one that TP back to base, the only one that had a buyback.
The fact that this Terrorblade's able to get the Silverjaw edge off 20 seconds, he was able to get it on the Huskar, allow them to burst him down in the middle of that team fight, and now with the Aegis, everything in their control, no idea that there isn't even the buybacks available. The chances for Tundra to take this first game away are ludicrous, and even with 2 stand-ins, they're ready to convert this.
No one picked up the cheese. It's still in the pit.
They don't need it.
I mean, everyone needs a bit of Gouda. Ooh, salary.
Oh.
Danger gaming right now, but they do have themselves a free Ags for Nightfall, and he uses that Terror Wave for the high ground push. Has the refresher obviously available when needed to get his actual metamorphosis off, but there is no buybacks available, and they don't really fear anything at this stage. It's just going to be the defending game coming through, and a second set of racks in favor of Tundra. On towards the bottom to secure Megas before Dyrachyo will be respawned, because he's 800 gold away and he will not get it back in time. They're actually going to go in onto Quinn. He's going to get broken. Quinn, the 4 staffs do it. They keep him alive. No, they do not. The Husker is just easy fodder. And with that metamorphosis, they should manage to most likely get themselves at the very least megas, if not more. They are keeping the TV occupied quite significantly though, Nightfall.
They're able to keep this fight going for so long.
Oh, the lift up, drag back, the damage is immense, and
counter.
the ace kill has been secured. A 7-kill streak, that's how long he's been alive, has come through, but he was the one with a Vibe available. Dratch is going to go in onto the TV. Nightfall, can he get the Sunder off? He does get the full Sunder off. Heals back to Ace's full HP. Dratch with the pressure has to run away. No Vibe on Ace. Charge forward stops it. He's going to get the pulverized smackdown coming in. Lotus was too late, and they find Duraccio. No buybacks available, and it seems no chance available here for Gamin Gladiators. So, without the substitutes, Gamin Gladiators stomp Tundra. With the two subs, they managed to take game number 1 against Gamin Gladiators. That is a pretty phenomenal performance coming out. Honestly, from both of them, obviously, but what was Saxa good on that Rubik? That mid-game, taking down Quinn single-handedly almost multiple times. Oh, the Huskar pick did not pay off.
They understood exactly what the win condition was on this Tundra side. Getting the right items on this TB, that is... It feels a little bit weird at first. It's like, wait, he's got a Silver Edge? And a Refresher? Doesn't scream normally like the top priority items you get after a BKB and a Manta. But you can see, it just ends up eventually throwing the Manta away. Too many slots, doesn't need it. Just needs the damage and the break to counteract these cores. And it was such a good game from this Huskar to do the delay. But that Pudge cannot keep up with a Terrorblade. And the fact that it was all these survival items, you can't blame him for doing his best. But man, Saska, once again, on that support. Just always able to catch players out.
Yeah, Saxa was superb on the Rubik, caught so many great spell steals. The Chakram that he stole, taking down Quinn, being just absolutely phenomenal. Multiple times he got himself the Sleeping Dart as well. And just in general, the lifts from long range, hooks, mid-team fight, everything. Saxa was insane, but so were the two subs. Honestly, the entire lineup did so much together, and it was a full-on team effort from Team Tundra. But that's only game number 1, ladies and gents. We got ourselves 2, maybe 3 games of this series. We'll be going towards a short little break to refresh, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 was an absolute blast. It was a nail-biter all the way through. The drafts were wacky, the plays were insane, and eventually it was Tundra that managed to win game number 1. But new round, new chances, new heroes possibly as well. Actually, to be fair, it wouldn't surprise me at all for new heroes, but Trevor, what a blast that game number 1 was, wasn't it?
Yeah, what a blast. These two teams, just very creative drafts, throwing us, tossing and turning every single direction. A nail biter until the end. And just a hard carry from that TV with some fantastic support behind him to find that success. You know, Sasuke and the Primal Beast 2 on tops and mid, just able to create so much space for them.
Yeah, and it was actually Gamin Gladiators started off the game super well as well. They won pretty much their lane. Well, mid went a little bit awry, but net worth wise, they won all 3 of their lanes. They looked pretty dominant. They had Tofu killing off everyone on the map at one point, but eventually they just managed to get it to the later points. And right now we have a turn back the clock play here. Broodmother versus the Pudge plus Crystal Maiden. It would not be too surprising to me if we get to see another Rubik coming in for Saxa.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they just goes through it here and just pick the TV early, because even with the little bit of a weird build, it was able to find that answer, and I think that's what they're debating. Do we go for the Rubik or do we go for the TV? Because it's certain that Gamin Gladiators are going to ban out the other, and they're going to prioritize that Rubik, and who can blame them?
Yeah, he was pretty good. Again, against Crystal Maiden and Pudge, the spell steals are insane. There will probably be a couple, like, some very interesting bans. Undying ban, okay, that's an interesting ban. It is pretty okay against the Pudge, I guess, because Pudge does not have good attack speed. But, yeah, I assume an Ursa ban will be coming in as well, because Ursa tends to be a good old tank buster against a hero like the Pudge.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
With the Batrider ban, there is immediately when I think see a Batrider being banned, I always think about the Treant Protector. It's being played a lot in this current patch, but as in Southeast Asia, it gets played nearly every game. But a Batrider is really good against it. Granted, it is also a very good hero for Quinn, so it might just be a respect ban in that regard to make sure that they will not be running you down. There we have the Darkseer ban, and that forebodes a possible, again, TB pick coming in for Tundra. Which is...
I would be surprised if Gamin Gladiators don't ban it, though. You got the classic Batrider removed, the Darkseer, 2 of the best counters to respond. I mean, we've seen that even with the Huskar and Pudge, you can cause some trouble, but there will be a point where he can just out-carry you. And another carry that can out-carry you even easier is the Ursa. It's him and the TB. I'm going to assume that's where their last 2 bans are dedicated going to this next phase. And I'm not sure where that's going to lean us towards next.
They could always try and bamboozle play and give like Ace the Pudge in case it's needed and get a different safe laner if they want to. Hell, maybe even Quinn wants to take a crack at the Pudge mid. But there we have the Ricky ban. That makes a lot of sense. Tofu was really convincing on the Ricky last game. They did not win it, of course, but that entire early game was just a Tofu show.
Yeah, I can say the Ursa doesn't have the most enjoyable early game, but he can find success against it.
5 seconds remaining.
And with that, you know, they still have so much of this reserve time, but they're gonna have to use it. Do you want to ban out that TB? Do you want to be able to answer that? I'm surprised that, again, like I mentioned, that they didn't save the Ursa for themselves. It takes a bit to get that Battle Fury, but it does an amazing job against the spiders. He's able to come back and snowball pretty quickly with that Ursa, and we know you can just directly go and fight up against the TB if you ban it, but instead they're having to use both of these bans to get rid of the Ursa and the TB, and going with the Hoodwink to respond.
Okay, Hoodwink. It's another Tofu hero. He loves to play it. He spams the hero into oblivion at the moment. Pretty solid hero. Spells are pretty nice to steal, though, for the Rubik, possibly. It lanes well with some nice targets, and you can find the Broodmother in the trees. I think that's specifically like the most important thing. You can find the 33 Broodmother scurrying about in the tree line, and that is what they'll be trying to use the Bushwhack for most of the time. Though the downside is that you can be hunted down through the trees, so it does have an adverse effect in that regard.
I mean, the Hoodwink gives you this good lockdown for both the Rubik and the Broodmother and whatever else they try to bring out. And with the Terrorblade taken out, they have to figure out something else to respawn. And the Pangolier, it's a decent option, gives you the flexibility, doesn't give away your draft necessarily, though. With the Broodmother, I'm going to assume that it has to be a Topson Pango.
It's very likely a Topson Pango, Snaking, Phoenix, both very clear-cut priority picks for those two players specifically. Yeah, just give them comfort, and there we get to see the Quinn. It is an interesting matchup between the Pango and the Ember. There is, honestly, definitely the outplay potential, but most of the time it does favor slightly the Ember Spirit in those engagements. One thing that I do find a little bit worrying for the side of Tundra is last game they had a struggle with lockdown. A significant struggle. Like, Rubik was all the lockdown they had. This time they have a Phoenix, and you kind of need to have everyone close to the Phoenix. And the only one that really has AoE good, solid lockdown would be the Pangolier. So Topson and Snaking, if they want to have like any egg stunning any enemy, you kind of need to group them all together, because Ember's very evasive. Hoodwink is very evasive. The other two are very slow, but for the most part, it should be just A-okay. One, I do think that they should get something with attack speed, though, for the Phoenix Egg, in case you can't run away. That's why it is a very good choice to ban out the Beast Moss, because Beast Moss, of course, has that attack speed aura, which is very effective to kill off an egg.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and it's just a really good off-laner to remove. And all this is like, well, you have to use your last pick to answer this Phoenix, or you're going to have to deal with the egg in every single team fight. And even then still, it looks like I actually misread that a bit. You will have that last pick, and you'll have to debate, do you want to try to deal with the carry? Do you want to try to deal with the safe laner? You know, what do you want to do? And they just are not interested in dealing with that Timber in game number 2. It's pretty problematic game number 1. One of the main reasons they were able to get the first bloods, create all that space in the early game to get that lead and momentum and to keep this game so contentious.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's an interesting ban, the Timber saw. We did see Ace last game. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense because Ace was so good. Like, it's kind of, that was a top tier Timbersaw performance. They lost, granted, but the amount of farm he got, the amount of impact he had in team fights, his item build as well with the Scythe of Ice at a reasonable timing. It was impeccable in his duties there. This time around, will they give him another core that can transition that expertly? They ban out the Doom. Last pick is for Gamin Gladiators, so we might still get a big surprise off lane for Ace. It could still be the Pudge off lane. That would honestly not be surprising in the slightest. If they want to decide that they want to flex it around. And there's going to be the CK. Okay, that is a hero that we get to see sometimes to moderate success, I would say.
Maybe overall, most of the time I've seen it, it's been disappointing at best.
I'm trying to
usually
bump it up a bit.
Usually they try to find the success without the ults. There's a lot of just AoE damage to clear the illusions off. So I think a lot of it's going to be relying on getting this lockdown with the Rubik, I suppose, and maybe a little bit of the Pango.
The CK
to try to allow the CK to get those bursts. the CK stun is certainly nasty.
But
And importantly, that passive gives sustain. I don't know how well it goes up against in the strength matchup in comparison to, say, you know, the Pudge. I don't know if it's as good as, say, a Lifestealer, for example.
oh no, a Lifestealer would be 10 times better to kill off a Pudge. I actually think CK is probably a very weak choice in that regard. It is good to kill off the supports and possibly Ember if Ember is slightly underfarmed, but the downside of a Pudge is he gets Axe, then you have the healing reduction against the Broodmother's healing, which is going to go Guardian Greaves, against the Phoenix Sunray, which is obviously a ton of healing, and the CK's third spell, I cannot think of the Chaos Strike, something along those lines. It's just the healing reduction from the Pudge. It almost instantly will lose his CK illusions. Like his goal this game is summon Phantasm, hide in trees, blink, kill support. That's kind of how he's supposed to take these fights. And with the Tide in the mix, their team fight, AoE, control, damage, sustainability is going to be really hard to break through. Like the Tide and Pudge are hard to kill this game. So I definitely am feeling Gamin Gladiators draft this time to be a reasonable amount stronger. Granted, Phoenix Sunray is very good against both the Pudge and the Tide Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, the entire reason they went for the Tide is they needed something that could answer this Broodmother to be competitive. And if there's a game for the CK to find success, I feel like this one should be it. There's not those big damage spellcasters. I mean, sure, the CM and the Pudge can do decent damage, but considering, you know, you always have the passive on those illusions, it's just kind of a battle of who can sustain more. And maybe the burst damage is too much and it's just able to, you know, pop through that strength and crack through the iron eggshell of this defense. It's kind of the big mystery here, considering they have the Pango with it too. That's pretty good. The team fight is insane, and it does, I would argue the Pango answers the lockdown question for the Phoenix. Just the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, I think a 4-staff or two, like if the Crystal Maiden and the Hoodwink both get a 4-staff, they have kind of destroyed the Rolling Thunder, and then they can get out most of the time. Personally, I'm going to throw my eggs in the Gamin Gladiators basket this time around. So to hear you're going for Tundra, so we're going to be on opposite sides this time to see who's going to be the correct in the process. But yeah, CK has not, as you said, been as successful lately. Maybe we get to see some blast from the past performance coming out from the Nightfall CK.
I just like winning.
I don't see any reason that can't be brought out to keep things nice and spicy.
Well, do you want to keep things nice and spicy? Don't forget to press the banner below the stream to get yourselves a $15 free bet over at Betboom. It is going to be first blood secured. Another kill at the start of the game and another freeze into hook combination. It is, well, different lane, same story.
They enjoy getting this first blood. And I don't know, is the Pudge something Gamin Gladiators go for so often, or is it specifically against this Brood situation?
It's primarily against Brood, but they also like to play it in general. Duracho is a lover of strength melee heroes. Like Dawn is a hero that he loves. He's played the safe lane Mars a reasonable amount of times. He kind of just plays everything that's required for his team, but his Pudge is really good. He kind of reminds me of Watson in that regard. Both the safe laners tend to just like play whatever their team requires of them.
Certainly makes enough sense. Field Crash did connect there. I almost thought it just completely missed and didn't connect. Level 1's going to be nice for the Ember. I feel like once it gets to the level 3, that's when the Pango has the chance to really get that burst damage through and turn things around.
Yeah, that top lane, we've seen it previous game that it went horribly wrong with the freeze into hook combination. Speaking of which, they're going to try it again. Saksa gets dragged back. There is no rot yet for Dyrachyo, so he cannot realistically run down the Rubik, but you do that one more time and the Rubik is dead. So you got to be a little bit careful in that regard. Towards mid, Thompson's got himself already 3 denies. That's not too shabby. And in the other lane, I'm actually wondering if there's even a good possibility for a kill fest there, because Tide's hard to kill, CK's kind of hard to kill. I guess maybe the supports in the bottom lane could be killed off in the process. I think mid is probably the lane where we're going to see most of the kills happening, because these guys are kind of wild, especially Thompson. He's known for being, you know, obviously 2-time TI winner, but also a little bit of a a wacky performer in regards to being called the pub star, because he tends to just want to run you down every single time. Oh, that's a nice catch. Bottom lane, Snaking's going to get taken down. Good bushwhack. Toxa, in the meantime, just got hooked again. And that is going to be 3 kills for Gamin Gladiators already. And they're even looking for 33. He's trying to heal up with the Insatiable Hunger. Lifesteal is pretty nice, but Dyrachyo, he's pretty scary on that pudge.
They're making sure not to give him the space to be able to regen it early. And again, Gaming Gladiators. Man, this early game is always so strong from them. Ready to take the fights, to take the competition.
Well, they are pretty aggressive on their part. And it's lovely to see, of course, that we don't have, you know, just super farm-heavy teams. I mean, their drafts are definitely not farm-heavy. Both these sides don't actually have a quote-unquote heavy late-game core. No Agi cores, the safe laners in this game, so a lot more brawly mentality coming in. And it makes for entertaining Dota.
That's kind I enjoy when things become a bit of a brawl fest. Your team's encouraged to do so. Guess he was just focused on last hitting that creep while respecting the shield. I'm going to trust that was a bit of a whiff on that swashbuckle. Shouldn't be the biggest deal though. But is they're waiting for this level 6 on this entire off lane to be able to compete, because CM Pudge is such a strong combo.
Currently Quinn is having a very good time in the mid lane matchup. Definitely knows the matchup between an Ember and a Pango. Pango has problems killing off the Flame Guard, and that's why you can pretty much run him down most of the time. Keep him away from the creeps and you get all the loss that's needed. Bottom lane, Ace is taking a lot of damage here. Does not have a point in the Kraken shell, actually, so Ace is in trouble. Body blocks, are they going to happen? Nice bushwhack comes in, the slow on to Nightfall as well, and now they want to go back in. They've got themselves a Mango to try and get the splatter, but it will be the drag back from Nightfall. It's nice minus armor. Snaking barely survives. Nightfall barely survives. It's very scary for both these sides to stay in the lane.
There we go. And I mean, if there's one character that normally should be good with the sustain, it is the Chaos Knight. The fact that he's having such a rough time early is telling of how dominant these lanes are on the side of Gaming Gladiators. Just having to sacrifice these supports time and time again to keep these cores alive, getting their last hits. A good respectful high five.
Always hashtag Tofu big fan. He's really good. At his laning spade specifically, he is insanely talented. Towards mid, Quinn is honestly doing an insanely good job this game, where he struggled last game on the Huskar. Got that last pick against the Primal Beast. It did not pay off as well as he would have liked. A nice bottle refill there by Tofu to make sure Quinn does handle his lane superiorly. 33 is going in on Dyrachyo. The damage from Gaming Gladiators is not enough, because the healing from the Broodmother is up to snuff. Drag back as well. They're going to surround Celery. Going to get the kill secured. The chase should be more than plentiful, and Celery on that. Crystal Maiden will be taken down. Saxa with a double kill. And yeah, this is what I've seen a lot of the time. Last game, of course, the Pudge plus Crystal Maiden won that lane, but I see a lot of games where the Pudge actually loses because Insatiable Hunger healing, like the initial burst damage coming out from the Pudge is great, but then Insatiable Hunger healing comes out and then it gets really dicey afterwards. towards mid. A lot of damage coming out onto Quinn. Double damage, gets picked up by Thompson. This is very scary for Quinn. He's going to get taken down. The Bushwhack comes in a second too late. And now the two supports are going to hunt down for Saxa. They do have the slow Tofu. Can they take down the Rubik? And he's going to go expecting to already lose his life, so trying to man fight. Might be able to scoop up that bounty. Actually denies it in the process, but will die. Tofu with a double kill. 4-0-1 on Tofu. Again, looking pretty good for the Hoodwink.
There we go. Got a bit of those good old right clicks coming in.
Well, Ace is winning his lane quite convincingly on the Tide. Has almost got his Ravage available as well. So then everyone needs to be careful if they're going to go for any tower dive shenanigans. But yeah, this Tide is loving life. CK is not very well suited for taking out a Tide, because he does have also that AoE armor reduction. Ooh, Duracho gets caught out in the top lane, and yeah, Broodmother is not a hero that you can easily counter with the punch pick. It's a hard hero to beat.
But able to find those early levels, about to get that level 6 in these off lanes to have that sustain, and this Pango ready to fight directly against Quinn. So there's someone that should be able to win out mid duels. It would be this Ember, able to consistently dodge those Pango swashbuckles.
Definitely capable so far. He's got himself the full Orb of Corrosion. That's good for ganking. Doesn't have a point in Searing Change just yet, so slightly less good for ganking at this stage. But you know what is good? Getting yourselves a nice $15 free bet over at Betboom with the banner below the stream. Currently Rolling Thunder from Thompson will not be able to catch on to Tofu, and his Rolling Thunder has ended. They have no way of holding him in place without the Searing Chains available on Quinn.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Oh,
I don't consider myself the best player.
yeah, he's still significantly ahead of the Pudge of Duracho, but the Duracho has himself the Vanguard already, so he can just jungle and farm up pretty efficiently. Tier 1 tower top lane has already been secured by the Broodmother. Bottom lane, Ace is going to try and do the exact same. Actually, Ace is going for more AoEs, building up the Ags as his first item. I love this choice. It's so good this game. You've got the armor reduction and the AoE, from the AoE Gush coming into play. Just in general have AoE Gush, which first of all is superbly just strong to have. And it will be able to clear up the CK illusions, the Broodmother spiders, everything that you need. Oh my god, Tofu almost gets shellacked there. Tries to go for the TP into the trees, will be taken down by Thompson, who is going to try and do as much damage onto Quinn as he possibly can. But that will be the end of the roll. It's a 5-kill streak that he manages to pick up, so that's at least a decent payday.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
they just smoked underneath. Hard vision there from the Tundra side, so they're going to back off. They know a gank attempt is coming, and they will make way of it. Yeah, Nightfall's just going to go to the other side of the jungle. He's got his armlet done. He's going for the Echo Saber afterwards and just farm to his heart's content. Same thing that obviously Dyrachyo needs to do at this point because he walks into the top lane. It gets a bit scary. Speaking of scary, Saksa will be jumped quickly and taken care of quickly. Was hoping that he'd get a Fire Remnant steal there from Quinn, but unfortunately the Flame Guard was used a little bit later. Getting ran down. Ace used the Ravage as well. He's going to get taken down. That's going to be 4 kills there for Tundra. Dyrachyo did not rotate in because he is kind of behind in terms of net worth, trying to get some farm going. But big fight there. And a lot of good catches for the Tundra side, opening up the tier 1 tower towards mid. And that's an engagement they desperately needed as well. Because obviously the Pudge was struggling, but the rest of the Dire side was looking pretty good, looking very comfortable. Celery in the trees will be caught out by a nice Tundra catch coming into play. And Ace, his Aghanim Scepter, is getting closer. The Axe is actually a very big pickup if he can get it, even though he only has level 1 Gush at this stage, so that would be a little bit sad. But the Tide is still not the easiest hero to kill, because if you go for the Tide, they can TP in pretty quickly to help him out. But top lane, that's where the ganking squad is heading. They're looking for Dyrachyo again. Will they be able to get a kill? Dyrachyo pops his ulti, gets the Nom Nom on the Rolling Thunder, gets the Rolling Thunder completely interrupted, and oh my lord, a huge kill onto Topsa, but the stolen freezing field almost gets rid of Dyrachyo in the process. They should be able to find Saksa as well, and that will be a second kill for Gamin Gladiators. The gank attempt has failed for Tundra, and that is because, well, BKB Piercing is there with the Pudge ult.
And it will pierce indeed, and it just pierces a bunch of kills, and we just go back and forth once again. And it seems like Tundra are completely willing to adjust to play this bloody play style, just fighting back and forth, and able to find the success. You know, the Terrorblade, it was a bit of a clawing fashion, having to fight through, but the CK's able to be a lot more successful early, and you can see that as he's in the top of the net worth charts. And they're setting up for him to take control of this game once again. Rely on just the legendary presence of these stand-ins to create the space needed.
Let's see, Tundra, they are currently 1k ahead, and Quinn is gonna say hi, immediately disengage, trying to get the BKB. Once they have BKBs on the side of Gamin Gladiators, they have a lot less to fear because there is no BKB piercing effects available. They are going to get a big catch, and that's why they went for the Tofu Hoodwink, because Bushwhack is very good in catching out the Broodmother that likes to run through the tree lines. 33 will falter, but towards mid Duracho, he's underneath the tower. It's very risky. Actually, in comes the Ember, going to say hi. That's going to be Quinn. Onto his dear opponent, Saxa, but the Rolling Thunder in return could be a bit of a problem. Sleight of Fist, the Phoenix Egg has been dropped. Big jump away by Quinn in the process. Will they continue for more? It seems that's not going to be the case. And Ace has his Aghanim Scepter now done. So a lot of damage to be thrown out from the fight. Doesn't have a Ravage available. Duracho staying back. Goes for the hook in. Actually drags back Thompson. Doesn't have a Rolling Thunder available. But Duracho might have put himself in an awkward spot. The Snaking just burning him down with the Sun Ray damage. Quinn has fully healed up. Can they get the catch onto Thompson? It seems that will be the trade-off. Again, Duracho falters. They do manage to find the enemy mid.
Oh boy, now with that, this Phoenix trying to run. They don't want to lose more after this Pango. Able to save the Rubik just momentarily. Man, those Broodlings doing so much damage. Sam's able to get that under control. And back to farming they go, waiting for the rest of the team to respawn before they go to skirmish once again. And what better way to reflect how close this game too is than these Betboom mods. Tundra and Gamin Gladiators deserving this upper bracket slot for this upper final.
Well, that is indeed the upper final. Winner of this best of 3 heads on over towards the grand finals. There is another match after this series that will be Team Straight versus Entity. We'll be facing up against each other to see who is going to make it towards the end of the run here.
Go, just that Phoenix burn. It's so disgusting. Satsuka able to get another.
Yeah, the Phoenix Sunray is doing a pretty insane amount of damage in all of these fights. That's the plus of playing against strength heroes on the opposing side. Quinn gets jumped. Can they get the full stun lock secured onto the Ember? It's going to be a little bit more problematic than that. You can just Fire Remnant back to safety. And in the meantime, Ace is building up the pipe. So he's just building up defensive tools. Did not go for the Guardian Greaves this game, so they don't have the healing on their side. But definitely a big plus to build some more defensive, because they are getting just destroyed primarily by the magic damage until the CK is strong enough to be able to man fight his opponent. Speaking of which, Nightfall does have his BKB available, and Nightfall has not really shown his face that much just yet. Duracho, though, will be jumped here in the bottom lane. Does have his Ag, so you can see a lot of damage in return coming out.
Oh my goodness, that's without the illusions.
Yeah, that's Pudge that's been struggling a little bit this game against Nightfall, who's been loving life. He also does have the Mage Slayer now, so the magic damage coming out from the Rot will be also significantly reduced. He desperately needs that, because otherwise it would be a tough fight to muster.
With that, I just get worried, because this Broodmother, she's had a couple of failings, but 33 is always able to get the farm back, keep her in the game, and it's going to get all this big utility team fight abilities. This Tight Armor's decent at farming, but nowhere near the Broodmother. It's enough to force the Phoenix to go through the egg, as with the Hoodwink, that would be able to get the snipe to take out, if not for the egg.
Well, the CK is pretty big. So what can he get done? Haven't really seen the illusions do much just yet, but hopefully we'll get to see a brawly moment soon enough. On the in this game, they have just had very small skirmishes for the most part. There was that one big fight where they lost 4 heroes on the Gamin Gladiators end. But now with Quinn also securing his BKB, they are looking for an engagement here towards the top. 33 is lurking about in the area, but decides to TP towards bottom. So both teams trying to sneak up on their respected opponents.
Both teams ready to fight, and perhaps too ready to fight, as they have the exact same idea, so end up on opposite sides of the map. So thankfully they'll keep that similar idea in mind, so they'll take the contact in a little bit late towards mid, and that's a beautiful combo into the Pango. But again, the Phoenix with the mech from the Broodmother, it's enough sustain. They saved the Pangolier, and he's rolling in, and that's going to be a taken out Pudge. That's going to give these Broodlings be able to hunt down and try to find some chase. They want to take out the Pangolier.
Oh, but there's
again,
a CK with the Phantasm.
And that is a deleted CM.
Yeah, that's 2 kills without the Pudge. They're not as safe. Quinn misses the Fire Remnant to the high ground, but he is going to try and disengage. Ace blocks any entry, any chase coming forward, and it will be a fallback by the side of Tundra. They did manage to again get a double kill, almost taking care of Thompson in the process, but the problem was the healing, the sustain coming in from the Sunray, from the guarding Greaves on the Broodmother. They could not survive. Could not have the damage to kill off Thompson just in the nick of time. And when the Rolling Thunder is going off, they have a little bit of damage that they can throw on him with like the Sleight of Fist and possibly the Dismember, but without it, it's going to be really tough to kill off the Pango while he's rolling. They can't really touch him at that stage.
Keep that up. And I'm a bit worried. The Tidehunter has 1,000 net worth on the Pudge. That's supposed to be the position 1. But the CK, he doesn't scream to me the best counter. You know, I saw the Terrorblade having to go for the Silver Edge despite how much damage he can find.
Oh!
But it's not going to be that case. Oh, what a clutch. It's just going to force the Rolling Thunder. That can be spammed. And they're going to use that to go for this Pudge instead. Suddenly, it's an entire Tundra lineup. A stun combo. This Pudge unable to escape. The CK able to confirm it. And man, this position 1 unable to find anything on the Gamin Gladiators.
Yeah, Duracho getting caught again, trying to save out Celery. There is a nice counter kill that came out from Tofu, killing off Saxa in the process, which was, well, that was pretty neat. But regardless, Duracho is just having a very rough time. It's a hero that needs quite a bit of build-up and sustain to be able to stay alive. And in this case, he just doesn't have, he doesn't have any armor at the ready. He's just not at the point where he can man fight just yet. And if they're not careful, that might never come in this game. Even though Ace is stupidly farmed. And Ace almost does have a Blink Dagger, so their team fight is still very dangerous to deal with from the Gamin Gladiator side. But they are kind of being picked off in its entirety by Tundra's rotations.
There goes, good old last clicks, and this is the first time I think we're going to be able to get to see this CK have the success. And man, he's even going for the Silver Edge just in case that Pudge starts getting a little bit too tanky. I don't even think he needs it, honestly. So that has me even more scared. This Pudge has been unable to find success. I see no reason that's going to be changing anytime soon. He's trying to work on that BKB so late on. Just able to finish it now. It's on its way on a good old courier. And they want to use that timing to go for a pick. Though the issue is Tundra, once again, they're going aggressive on the opposite side of the map for control. And they're going to have to use this late setup, relying on the Tidehunter. Its rotations. Oh no. They're not going to be able to get here in time. This is going to be an Aegis for the Chaos Knight.
Yeah, it's only the first roast. It's not too problematic. CK, it's a pretty decent hero for the Aegis, but without the BKB, it gets a bit more dangerous this game, considering even the Crystal Maiden's freeze is very hard to deal with if you can't get out of that spot. But they're going in, and again, Thompson charging forward. The Ravage is blown, but it catches the backline. However, the Phoenix that comes just in time. Duracho is going to get the nom onto Thompson, getting the kill secured. Thompson just going to barely survive, rolling thunder through. And now they need to again disengage on the side of Gamin Gladiators. Actually, 33 is going to be left behind alone. They even find snaking on the side. 33 is trying to look at that sustain coming out from the Brood Mother. Is it enough to keep him alive? Yes! Or no, it just barely will mean his death. The one that they kind of needed if they were going for a full-blown engagement there on the side of Tundra was their CK, who was, well, he TP'd bottom because he saw farm and wanted farm.
Farm is good. Taking a small sacrifice of the Broodmother, they're not going to worry about that. She's caused so much desolation and destruction. Having the Rubik removed, not wanting Sasuke have that same level of success, and they almost catch out Quinn in response. Man, this CK is problematic. And the Silver Edge being finished up just now.
Well, yeah, they need to bulk up on Gamin Gladiator side. Duracho is going to get caught out again. That is his 8th death this game.
God.
That is a safe lane Pudge that died 8 times. Oof.
And the fact that Pengalier's relying on these, you know, Javelin, Maelstrom procs, or at least he would normally. Instead, it's just the Basher. He's getting all the damage out with the Phoenix magic, and he doesn't even have a Maelstrom to help? Or the Javelin procs? That's insane! And now the CK's left in a little bit of an awkward...
Thundery on the run, will be caught out. The Rolling Thunder is going to chase in for more. But the big plus, as you mentioned, with the Basher on the Pango is that they have a BKB piercing stun at this point. So even if the Ember pops his BKB or the Pudge pops his BKB, they have a way to interrupt it at the very least. It's going to be a fight for more. Nightfall going in onto Ace. Silver Edge would not be a bad choice here for the CK, possibly, to get that break on the Tide later down the line, but they are keeping the net
he's already has it fully kitted, and even has the Mage Slayer to boot. He has everything he needs. I would say they'd use it on the Pudge, but apparently they can just right-click with a little bit of Phoenix assistance. The Pango does enough damage to go through anything he's had, because he's had such a poor game. He's unable to contest. And they're setting up with this Silver Edge. That's going to be a super dead
big Ravage play coming out. The
Duracho
Duracho jumping in.
Space.
Gets the catch. Thompson has a Rolling Thunder available. Duracho's BKB might end soon enough. They're going to continue forward, and that Rolling Thunder came in at the end of the BKB. Duracho is going to get forced back to the other side, taken down in the process. But there is still Quinn in the fight. They get a pretty decent catch going forward onto 33. Thompson's trying to get the stun lock onto Quinn. Quinn's actually in trouble. Quinn is dead.
Oh
big
my
smack
God.
out from Nightfall.
No.
The Aegis is going to get popped. Celery with the freezing field onto Thompson. But the bash in return means Celery will be found out, and it is a disaster for Gamin Gladiators. The break comes into play. Ace slowed down. The basher going ham onto Tofu. And that's a full team wipe soon to be happening. I don't think that they're going to stop, and indeed they're going to get them all destroyed. It started so well with that Ravage play from Ace, but there was just a lack of damage against the sustain from the Tundra side.
And you can see that CK goes for the initiation. He's like, well, if I toggle off my armlet, I'm going to have 1 HP. I'm in Viz. I could get out of this, try to reset and regain, but I'm going to take the fight, catch the opportunity. As you see here, they just set up and wait. They do find that initial opening, gets the CM. They have the Rolling Thunder able to follow through, so even though the Pudge tries to BKB out of there, he's completely removed. He's taken out, and even finding the opportunity later to take out the Ember. I was thinking, like, well, you just take out the rest of the team. What the Ember is going to do, he doesn't have a team behind him. They'll just take out the Ember anyways. The CK has enough lockdown to nuke. The fact that he has the Mage Slayer and the Silver Edge provide so much damage as we go back to another fight in the man fight, and that Phoenix stun goes through. The Ember's too low. The CK should be able to easily lock him down, but just barely the escape comes through.
Oh, they're trying to
That's not going to stop the chase.
Rolling Thunder in again. Going to get catch. Ace is going to get slowed down, but Duracho is the big target that they want to lock. and load out of existence. The bounces are superb. Duracho is stunned up again. 3 seconds CK stun. Going for more. Quinn's gonna get bashed up by Thompson.
Oh my
and
god!
Thompson is on a roll. Mega kill streak on the Pango, and I guess I stand corrected with my prediction here, because it looks, Trevor, like you are going to be right on the money.
I mean, I was expecting a Tundra win. Not like this. Not like this, though. This CK is having a dream of the game. Thompson is a god on the Pango. And with the Broodmother, these towers are non-existent. They're trying to use the Ags with the Gush on the Tidehunter to deal with the Broodlings. I mean, it does work, but it's going to be a bit too late. There's 2 racks completely eradicated. They still have 20 seconds left. And this Pudge is just no competition for the side of Tundra.
Duracho's had a pretty disastrous game, to say the least. And right now, they do have a significant advantage here on the Tundra side. And I've significantly also underappreciated the amount of damage and healing that comes out of the Sunray from the Phoenix. It has been pretty solid to take down these Gamin Gladiator cores all throughout the game, and even keep their heroes alive. Like, their sustain is just out of this world. It's kind of what they won TI with. The Tundra roster, obviously, with 33 constantly going for the Wraith back. They kept going with their sustain drops, and there we have the hero damage Thompson at the top. Not too surprising, but look at that Phoenix in 3rd place, 15k damage dealt by a 5-position snaking Phoenix.
Well, again, look at this Gaming Gladiators lineup. Who's going to stand in the middle of the team fight long enough to burst down the egg? No one. This Phoenix can freely place down this egg wherever the hell they feel like to just get this map control, get this stun, and just get all this damage in, and even have the heal, the sustain to help keep his team alive on top of the Guardian Greaves on the Broodmother. These cores on Tundra are going to be unkillable, despite Gaming Gladiators feel like they have the tanky strength lineup. Denied the Roche for quite a bit. They're going to have to patiently wait that one out.
Well, Roche will respawn in, long respawn timer, almost full duration, 2 minutes and 50 seconds still left. They are gonna smoke up on Gaming Gladiator side, see if they can get a catch, and start off an engagement with a man advantage is what they're looking for. Thompson is the one that they almost always jump for, and this time it seems they might be able to kill him off in time. Snaking at the end, this gets it popped. There's no buyback available coming through. They don't have an invis detection here. Charging forward, the CK going for more. The Phoenix egg gets dropped. They're going to try and right-click it down on the Phoenix egg of Snaking is finally taken care of. Quinn gets his 2nd kill because of it, but they're looking for more on the high ground. They're looking for the Rubik because he's doing so much. Oh my lord, Ace gets destroyed by Nightfall. Rachu tries to eat his way to victory, but that's not going to be coming through. Nice bushwhack stun to keep them alive for a bit longer. They are on the run right now, and Quinn's being chased by Saxa, who stole the Fire Remnants. They do even have a Wraith back on the Broodmother. They do have stupid amounts of sustain, but the extra armor coming out from the AC as well. It is hard to kill off the heroes of Tundra when they are grouped up. And even the
There it is. Checkmate's been brought out. The Bloodthorn with the heart. This man's going to be unkillable. You can see he's positioning to try to solo gank this Ember himself. They know the BKB is still down for another 30 seconds. He's ready to go in. They're going to use the Rubik to set up, find the opening initiation, the silence, the Bloodthorn. But there's enough escape that he's able to stay alive just for the moment. They know the Bloodthorn's in play, but what do? You have the information, but there's no counter. This Ember is in trouble, and he's going to have no way to respond.
They are in a pretty rough spot right now. So if you predicted it correctly, you could get yourselves a nice little profit there over at Betboom with a free bet of $15. And that would definitely go a long way. Also, if Tundra win this map, aka the series, that would mean that we would have an interview with Snaking. So if anyone's got any specific questions for Snaking, write them out in chat. I'll see if I can read them in time. Obviously, the game is not done just yet, but it is looking very rough against the very sustainable lineup of Tundra.
What do you do in this situation? The only benefit is the fact that this Roshan's up and they want to try a little bit safe. It's not going to stop the CK from silver edging through. And they have the gym. It's on the Ember Spirit though, so this Pudge is going to be a free snack. This CM has no movement. They're able to pop the Aeon Disc, but that just means the Phoenix is going to be like, okay, I'll just go the egg, force you guys back even further, harass you, leave you back in your spawn, nothing to do, and we have a Rubik with the Fire Remnants, able to just dance around at will. Oh god. There we go. What do we have on this Roshan? What delicious snacks do they have to profit off of? Of course we have that Aegis that's going to be brought on out, but what else is there with it?
The shard. This is the second road.
Just the shard?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's been so devastating. I thought there was more. Though they're not going to complain about a shard on the CK.
Yeah, no, that's CK summons illusions plus extra. I think 300 cast range on the Chaos Bolt is definitely no laughing matter. Be able to get the full lockdown in. And CK tends to build it up himself normally. Uses the Phantasm really, as you can see, to just split push this side lanes in. Bottom lane is the only set of racks that they still need to clear. And that is where they should be pushing it out momentarily. And Gamin Gladiators are possibly looking for a fight, knowing that they're completely spread out, or expecting it to completely spread out. They get the 2 supports, and that is pretty big because the Phoenix Egg is no more for that engagement. They have Ace with a refresher as well, so double Ravage to be thrown out for the extra lockdown stun for Gamin Gladiators. But they are up against an Aegis. 2 lanes are being have already been taken down. It's just a struggle. Dyrachyo's been really having the rougher series compared to what we normally expect from them.
Speaking of the lockdown, by the way, the fact that they have the shard on the CK, we're talking additional cast range. A Phantasm spawned in to just do pure destruction levels of damage when it's brought on out without having to dedicate that ult. What do you do? The CK is unstoppable. I was afraid that they would have enough magic damage to take out the illusions, but it seems like that's not the case. And even if they somehow find the miracle to make that happen, they don't need it. The Bloodthorn coming out, and what a clutch save. Just barely able to get that CM out of there. And you can see this entire Dire lineup is running away, just scared. This Chaos Knight is just the warrior from hell, the Apocalypse Knight coming in to hunt everyone down, and oh boy, should be a dead hoodwink. The sense is there.
Vision is just
Get
too
away
late.
alive just for now.
Will be able to get himself TP'd out just in the nick of time, and get himself out of dodge. So yeah, Gamin Gladiators is keeping the net worth advantage about the same. There is still an Aegis though for 2 minutes left on the CK, but he doesn't even have a blink yet. That pretty much shows you how dominant he has been. He's been in the middle of the fights and his blink dagger has not even been built up. His level 25 has now been reached as well. So another talent added in, and the high ground push will come through. Hook him back. That's actually behind enemy lines, but the healing onto Nightfall is pretty immense. Dyrachyo's taking a heap of damage. BKB has been forced out. And the tier 3 tower should die momentarily. Quinn is trying to keep them at bay. They drag the CK so far behind their tier 3 tower, and still he just takes barely any damage with all the healing on the opposing side.
Man, this is such a dream. You know, what better situation? 20k net worth lead.
Oh, the stun.
BKB's on cooldown. Oh man, they don't have any way to pierce the BKB. That's the one good news.
Backline
They're able to
front.
have this counter initiation following up the CK, but he's just staying alive.
He gets the Phantasm off as well. He's trying to go in onto Ace, who does get stunned. Nice jump further forward, but Senri gets destroyed by the drag back. Duracho is trying to manfight, but Nightfall still has an Aegis available as well. Thompson, no Rolling Thunder, but the BKB in the middle of the fray. They buy back onto both Duracho and Senri to continue this fight. Duracho jumping in with the dismember, but gets bashed up by this Thompson swashbuckle. They have very little left from the tank on Gamin Gladiators. The Sunray healing is going to be pretty substantial. However, Duracho, can he get himself out of there? It seems that that's possible here. Thompson's going to go for the chase. Thompson will actually be a little bit deeper here. Swashbuckle back. They find more kills going in. Nightfall does not fear death. Nightfall wants to get the Silver Edge break in, but it's instead going to have to go for Duracho. Duracho broken in the process. Drag back again, and Nightfall does not care what you're doing, because he's just smacking away onto his opponents. Just smack, smack, smack. Going in for more. Bybit comes
Oh,
out.
the question mark!
Oh my god, the emo question mark thrown out there. Oh, that is just Nightfall BMing to the max. Sunray will plentiful, and they're continuing this fight. Can they keep it up? It is very unlikely, and it looks with the rampage like Nightfall and Thompson be able to take the series.
Well, Armlet might have done more damage to that team fight than the Gaming Gladiators lineup. He had that Armlet fully toggled. He had the confidence. He was phantasming in with like 30% HP. He's just like, yeah, sure, worst case, they just instantly delete him because of the bonus damage on the illusions. Who cares? I can out-sustain. I'm not stuck here with an entire Gaming Gladiators lineup. You're stuck in here with me. He rips them apart, just freely right-clicks away, has the space of the Phoenix, the Pangolier with the bashes and the swashbuckle to just fully eradicate this lineup. And my god, these stand-ins are terrifying. Who better to replace and fill in to help make these legends stand out than just having some legends fill in? It's just a clean 2-0, and I couldn't be happier to see it. Amazing plays from Tundra Esports, Gaming Gladiators, overvaluing the Pudge, it seems.
Yeah, definitely a solid performance on their part. Would assume that they're going to give the MVP to the likes of Nightfall in this case, even though I think Snaking has definitely been very successful on that Phoenix throughout the mid game. But when you see that last fight, even throwing out the question mark BM, the emo classic, it is a phenomenal performance. It's actually going to be Thompson. To be fair, is Pangolier matchup against Quinn, but afterwards he got so many on-point swashbuckle stuns. The Rolling Thunder was there whenever needed. A lot of the times they tried to kill him. Like, I think there were 3 fights where they used everything to kill off a Thompson immediately at the start, and then in game 33 walking in with his sustain, with the Guardian Greaves, with all the defensive tools they have, Phoenix, Sunray on top, and they just couldn't kill him. And then he just pops Rolling Thunder, and then they all need to skedaddle out of that area. But regardless, a big fat